Before we start, this video is sponsored by no one. Wala naman kasi akong sponsor. Kumusta? I'm Avard Joseph and welcome to News at Worthy Recap Weekly Edition number 152. We have thoughts to cover since last week, so skip to the chances provided if it piques your interest and subscribe to the channel kasi wala namang masama, di ba? And let's get on with the video. Martin Romualdez, inosente raw. Hindi pinayagang umalis ni Remulla. Anong mangyayari kung ikaw ang tinuturo ng lahat bilang with highest dishonorable mention ng kawalang hiyaan at sentro ng alleged pandarambong ng kaban ng bayan?
Matagal akong hindi nagsalita dahil may direktang utos sa akin. Huwag nang bumalik ng Pilipinas at manahimik na lamang. Umalis ako noong July 19, 2025 para sa aking medical check-up. Nakaplanong bumalik pagkatapos ng SONA ni Pangulo. Pero habang papauwi na ako, tinawagan ako ni dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at sinabihan, "Stay out of the country. You will be well taken care of as instructed by the President." Noon naniniwala pa ako sa kanila, kaya't hindi ako bumalik. Tumikom ang aking bibig, sumunod ako.
Humigit kumulang 3 beses ako mismo ang nag-deliver ng basura sa bahay ni Congressman Saldico, sa Horizon Resident at sa mga bahay ni Speaker Romualdez sa 42 Mackenzie Street, Taguig. Mas maraming pagkakataon na nagde-deliver kami ng basura sa bahay ni Speaker Romualdez at sa bahay ni Congressman Saldico dahil iba-iba kaming mga nakadetailed na close-in, backup at advance party na nagkakaroon ng rotation.
Paulit-ulit kaming ginamit ng mga nasa pwesto sa sistemang ito. Wala kaming magawa dahil kung hindi kami makikisama, gagawa nila ng problema ang project na na-award sa amin sa pamamagitan ng mutual termination o pagkakaroon ng right-of-way problem na parehong nagdudulot ng hindi matuloy ang implementasyon ng mga proyekto. Matapos naming manalo sa mga bidding, may mga opisyal mula sa DPWS ang lumalapit sa amin para humingi at kumuha ng bahagi niya sa halaga ng proyekto. 21. Mayroon ding mga kinatawa ng ilang politiko na nakikipagtakbo sa amin upang manghingi ng porsyento kapalit ng mga porsyento ng mga proyekto. Ang mga porsyentong ito ay 25% ay ipinipilit sa amin bilang karaniwang kalakaran na wala akong kakainang tanggihan. Ilan sa kanila ay sina karamihan sa mga kawani ng DPWS na nabanggit sa itaas ay paulit-ulit na binabanggit ang delivery ng pera ay para sa kay Saldico na dapat at least 25%. Si Kong Marvin Rillo naman ay ilang beses na binabanggit ang pangalan ni Speaker Martin Romualdez bilang kanyang malapit na kaibigan.
Humingi ng travel clearance si dating House Speaker Martin Tambaloslos Romualdez for a medical trip sa Singapore. Pero an unlikely protest came from BBM's appointee with Remulla's ombudsman asking the Sandigan Bayan na maglabas ng preliminary hold departure order kay Romualdez para hindi makalabas ng bansa.
Mr. Romualdez was supposed to have a checkup in Singapore, I think. They were trying to ask us to allow him to leave. But because we have a bulletin, a lookout order with immigration about those that who are under investigation, we did not respond favorably to the request that he be allowed to leave. Because, ano yan eh, magkakaroon na naman ng haka-haka at kuro-kuro yan. Mabuti lang, sana naman, dito lang siya magpa-check up. Kasi naman, magagaling naman ang doktor natin dito. Actually, they were burning the lines yesterday and up to this morning. But I held my ground. Sabi ko, when you join government, you already surrender your right to travel, especially to another jurisdiction, especially if you're under investigation. Today, dapat. Hindi namin siya pinaalis, hindi namin pinayagan na ma-lift yung bulletin niya, kasi nga, naka-lookout order because we've been investigating him actively. Baka hindi na bumalik eh. We don't want that to happen.
Ang preliminary hold departure order ay isang paraan para mapagbawalan ang isang tao na makalabas ng bansa. Hindi dahil guilty agad sila, kundi malay mo, iniimbestigahan o kaya core witness para kung kakailanganin man siyang humarap sa korte, makakaharap siya na walang excuses kasi nga nasa loob pa rin sila ng bansa. Alam naman natin na noon pa man, tinatarget na ni Ombudsman Remulla si Romualdez bilang sentro ng flood control scandal, with Remulla saying na kahit sabing wala ni singkong duling ang nakuha, he's responsible for Zaldico's action, lalo na at siya yung House Speaker nung inappoint si Zaldico as House Appropriations Chairperson.
When we look at the Saldico cases, and the whole pattern that happened, it was really Saldico working with some senators that came up with a final version of the budget. And the plan was laid out there. If fingers do not point to the speaker, former speaker, as the leader of the House, he was responsible for the appointment of Saldico. Although Saldico was elected on the floor, everybody knows that it was the speaker's choice.
Matatandaan din natin na sinabi rin ni Remulla na magsasampa siya ng kasong plunder kay Romualdez by May along with Senator Chis Escudero na parehas leader ng Kamara at Senado respectively nung kasagsagan ng tinaguriang most corrupt budget na 2025 BICAP.
Against former Speaker Martin Romualdez and former Senate President Chis Escudero. Plunder ang aming hinahandang kaso para sa kanila.
Related sa... On record, sir.
And as a conspiracy, with the element of conspiracy involved in the preparation of the complaint.
How soon po ito?
Well, within the month of May, we're just tying up many things that have to be there for us to make a case out of it. Pero the Senate President, former Senate President, and the former Speaker will be subjected to a case of plunder very soon.
Flood control case, flood control related po.
Flood control related in so many ways, yes.
Ombudsman, sila na po yung sinasabi nyo kanina na matataas na opisyal. Nakakasuhan yung
Sila yan. Pero marami pang iba kasi nga
Maalala natin na nahuli na si Zaldico, or at least yun ang sinasabi nila, pero ngayon parang they're being icky about it kasi hindi naman daw talaga siya nahuli per se, hindi siya na-aresto, kundi na-hold lang siya or temporarily deprived of freedom kasi nga wala siyang papeles.
So with the word arrest, because arrest assumes that it's being done by the country which has jurisdiction over him, right? And the Czech Republic cannot lawfully arrest Zaldico because, of course, wala naman siyang outstanding warrant dun eh. So those are two different jurisdictions.
Today, Martinez qualified his answer once more. Martinez said that Ko was the subject of an official law enforcement action by the Czech authorities and that he is still within their jurisdiction. Martinez said it's much like when immigration authorities deny a person entry at the airport or exclude that person. A week after news of his being detained broke, and there is still limited information on Zaldico. Fast forward to this week, and the DOJ says Ko wasn't technically arrested, and that it was just that his liberty was restrained due to his failure to present proper travel documents, and that he is being held by the immigration authorities in the Czech Republic.
From the very start, nilagay ni Romualdez si Zaldico bilang budget in appropriations at isa si Romualdez along with BBM sa mga sinasabi ni Zaldico na pasimuno ng lahat ng ito.
Right after our conversation, tinawagan ko po si dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at nireport ko ang instructions ng Presidente to insert the 100 billion projects. At sinabi niya sa akin, what the President wants, he gets. After ng ilang araw, nag-set po ng meeting si Sekmina Pangandaman at Yusek Adrian Bersamin sa amin ni dating Speaker Martin Romualdez sa Aguado Building in front of Gate 4 ng Malacanang at nandun din po si Yusek Jojo Cadiz. During the meeting, binigay po ni Yusek Adrian Bersamin ang listahan na worth 100 billion. Tinanong ko po si Yusek Adrian kung saan galing ang listahan. Ang sagot niya, galing kay PBBM mismo at binigay niya ito mula sa brown leather bag. Pagkatapos ng isang araw, tinawagan ako ni Sekmina at sinabi ang mensahe ng Pangulo. Ipasok ninyo yan dahil pinangako na sa akin ni Speaker Martin yan at hindi na pwedeng baguhin. Kumbaga, ang utos ng hari hindi pwedeng mabali. Again, I informed the Speaker and asked clearance about the instructions ng Pangulo. At ang sabi niya, wala tayong magagawa. Kaya po nagtataka ako kung bakit sinasabi ni Pangulo na hindi niya makilala ang budget. Samantalang lahat na binawas at dinagdag sa mga ahensya ng gobyerno ay humihingi ng approval sa kanya si Sekmina Pangandaman.
Pero, bago natin tignan yung mga sinabi ni Romualdez, kailangan nating mag-ingat kay Remulla. Even though I kinda like the guy, parte pa rin siya ng gobyerno at appointee pa rin siya ni BBM. Tapos yung kapatid niya pa, gustong tumakbong presidente under BBM's endorsement.
You did say, Secretary, you have 36 years of loyalty, the Remullas to the Marcoses.
More than already, 40 years. 40 years na.
4
86
decades.
No, 79 pa kami magkasama. So more than.
Would an endorsement of President Marcos for 2028 be a big thing for you?
I will not run if he doesn't endorse me.
Oh, that's new. With its negative ratings, how can that endorsement mean anything?
I serve at the it's the it's a family thing. It's the confidence thing.
It's the machinery.
No, you're so cynical.
Yes.
Can't you be positive, diba?
Dahil tulad nga ng sinabi ko last week, pero bakit plunder ang fina-file ni Remulla? Hindi ba sabi niya noon pa na plunder is overrated? Mas mahirap yung patunayan kaya hindi niya gagamitin yun para sa mga gusto niyang makulong. Graft and corruption ang sasabihin. Pero bakit dito? Plunder. No, sasabihin nyo kasi yun yung involved sa kanila na malaki ang involved sa kanilang pera. Pero can't you find a single thing para mas madali nating mapatunayan at makulong yung mga dapat makulong? Baka mamaya magfa-file ka lang ng kaso tapos sasabihin mo, nahihirapan kaming patunayan. Para lang masabi niyang, wala na akong magagawa kinalaban ko si Romualdez pero walang ebidensyang nakita. Tapos, malinis ang kanyang kamay kasi nga, technically, totoo naman na pinurso niya si Romualdez. It's just that he pursued something that shouldn't even be pursued. Dapat graft and corruption, hindi plunder. Kasi, again, siya na nagsabi, mahirap patunayan ang plunder. Ngayon, Athena Romualdez took to social media para depensahan ang kanyang sarili sa mga alegasyon.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. For a long time, I chose to remain silent. I did so out of respect for the legal process. I did so because I did not want to add more noise to an already divisive issue. But there comes a point when silence is no longer prudence. My silence has been abused and weaponized to build a narrative that is false, twisted, and unfair. So let me be clear. I will not keep quiet anymore. I will face this head on, and I will speak with facts because the truth deserves to be heard. The budget does not begin in the House. It begins in the executive. The agencies and departments prepare their proposals. The executive consolidates them into the National Expenditure Program, and that program is then submitted to Congress. From there, the House deliberates, but the House is not one person, and it is certainly not the Speaker alone. It is a collegial body made up of hundreds of members, multiple committees, vice chairs, and institutional processes. In fact, there are around 85 committees, each with its own jurisdiction, leadership, and members. No speaker can personally control every committee, much less direct the actions of other branches or government agencies. And in the Appropriations Committee itself, there are already more than 100 members. So let us be honest about what becomes law. The national budget is not the act of one person or one chamber. It is a product of a constitutional chain involving the executive, the House, and the Senate. This is something I want the public to understand. The budget process is collective, multi-layered, and shared. Accountability must apply to everyone involved, not selectively assigned after the fact, and certainly not when it becomes politically useful. If corruption were to occur in a magnitude made known to us over the past months, then it's clear that the real corruption does not happen at the level of the general legislative approval alone. It happens at the level of execution of the General Appropriations Act. It happens when projects are implemented. It happens where projects are actually implemented, where procurement is undertaken, where monetary disbursements are actually made.
Sinasabi niya rin ginagawa siyang scapegoat or gagawin siyang scapegoat o panakip butas lamang, hindi niya papayagan yun.
So when the legal processes is being used against me as a political demolition job, then I will have no choice but to defend myself. And I will defend myself fully. I will not allow myself to be turned into the scapegoat so that others who are actually accountable can walk away clean. If this is a political play to push me out and close the story, tarnishing my name and my reputation, then I'm telling everyone now, I will not go quietly and I will not go alone. I will not be the fall guy for other people's corruption. I have been in public life long enough, I have seen enough, I have heard enough. I know many things about this current administration and past administrations as well. And I say this carefully. If this matter is to be handled as a legal issue, then let it be handled legally, soberly, and according to evidence.
Now, where have I heard that before? Poster boy, scapegoat, panakip butas? Hindi natin alam. I won't tell.
Tinawagan ako ni dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at sinabihan, "Stay out of the country. You will be well taken care of as instructed by the President." Noon naniniwala pa ako sa kanila, kaya't hindi ako bumalik. Tumikom ang aking bibig, sumunod ako, pero ang hindi ko alam, ang ibig pala nilang sabihin sa aalagaan ka namin ay gagamitin ako bilang panakipbutas sa kanilang kampanya laban sa korupsyon. Ginawa nila akong poster boy ng kanilang sariling kasinungalingan. Ngayon, hindi na ako mananahimik, ilalabas ko ang lahat ng katotohanan. May resibo, may ebidensya, at may pangalan.
Dagdag niya, naging transparent raw siya, sumagot sa mga tanong at umattend pa nga ng hearing sa ICI. Lahat ginawa niya para sumunod sa batas at malinis ang kanyang pangalan, or so he says, dahil nga ang sinabi niya, ang gusto niya independent ang mag-iimbestiga sa kanya, hindi sa wisyo ni Ombudsman Remulla.
Today, I'm taking this opportunity to speak directly to the Filipino people. From the start of this controversy, I have been cooperative. I personally appeared before the proper authorities. I voluntarily submitted my affidavit to the ICI. I provided the information and documents asked of me. I did not hide, I did not run. I did not evade scrutiny. I faced it head-on within the proper channel because I know there is no evidence that proves I committed plunder, conspiracy to commit plunder, or any similar offense that the Ombudsman may be contemplating against me. And because I have nothing to hide, I am today authorizing the immediate public release of the affidavit I submitted, together with all supporting information so that the Filipino people can judge for themselves who has been transparent and who is simply being politically targeted. But if certain people insist on waging this in the court of public opinion, then I will have no choice but to defend myself publicly as well. To the Ombudsman, I say this with full respect. If your office truly believes in justice, then follow the sworn statements, follow the records, and follow the evidence all the way. Do not stop where it is politically convenient. Do not settle for the easiest headline. Do not confuse public pressure with prosecutorial duty. What I ask of the Office of the Ombudsman is simple. follow the rule of law, and due process. This is a serious matter and it should be handled with seriousness, not with haste, theatrics, or shortcuts. I'm ready and willing to respond to every allegation in the proper forum through the proper pleadings, motions, and submissions that the law allows.
Pero ito, forgive us for being suspicious of you, Mr. Tambaloslos. We know your lifestyle. We know your political dynasty. Heck, we know your position at papel sa pagpapahalal kay Zaldico. It is not a leap to assume na ikaw, bilang House Speaker, ay makikinabang if not one of the main perpetrators ng pagnanakaw. Pinatatamaan na nga rin yata niya si Insan BBM saying nga, mas applicable sa ehekutibo of presidente at gabinete ang command responsibility o yung responsibilidad sa mga ginagawa ng nasa ilalim mo. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng ginawa nilang kabulastugan, meron kang responsibilidad kasi nga sila ay under mo. Alluding to his role bilang promotor ni Zaldico bilang budget chair at ang underlings ni BBM katulad ni Pangandaman at Bersamin ay isa raw sa mga gumamit ng kanyang pangalan para mag-insert ng bilyones sa budget.
That is why command responsibility is far more logically relevant in the executive branch where there is actually supervision, operational control, and implementation on the ground than in the collegial legislative body where constitutional role is deliberation and appropriation. Congress does not build flood control projects. Congress does not conduct procurement. Congress does not inspect whether a project was actually completed. Congress does not certify whether the work done was substandard or not. So if the allegation is that there was a systemic corruption in flood control implementation, then the public should ask the obvious question: where does implementation actually happen? Definitely not in the session hall of the House of Representatives. And to those who think they can throw me under the bus to save themselves, this is what I have to say to you. I am ready to defend my name. My silence should not be mistaken for weakness, ignorance, or fear. I know enough to defend myself, and if I am forced to do so in public, I will. Maraming salamat po.
And subscribe to the channel kasi wala namang masama, di ba? And let's get on with the video. Trillanes, siniwalat ang bank accounts ni VP Sara sa impeachment hearing. What do you get when you threaten the President, the First Lady, and the House Speaker?
Huwag kang mag-alala, ma'am, sa security ko. Kasi may kinausap na ako na tao. Sinabi ko sa kanya, kapag pinatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Araneta, at si Martin Romualdez. No joke. No joke. Nagbilin na ako, ma'am. Pag namatay ako, sabi ko, huwag ka tumigil hanggang hindi mo mapatay sila. And then he said yes.
In a fit of rage kasi nakulong yung aide mo.
Ang ina ninyong lahat. Martin Romualdez, Lisa Marcos, Bongbong Marcos.
The chair declares the sufficiency in substance of Zabala et al. Impeachment complaint. So ruled. The chair declares the Cabrera impeachment complaint sufficient in substance. So ruled.
Ito na ang pinakahihintay ng lahat. Ang pagharap ni dating Senador Antonio Sonny Trillanes IV sa Committee on Justice hearing bilang resource person sa impeachment complaints ni Vice President Sara Duterte.
Salamat po. Ako po si Antonio Sani Fuentes Trillanes de Fort, Pilipino, may sapat na gulang at naninirahan sa 42 Ninang Virginia Street, BF Homes, Barangay 169, Caloocan City, Philippines. Matapos makapanumpa ng naayon sa batas ay buong layang nagsasalaysay na dati po akong naglingkod sa bayan bilang senador ng Republika. Matapos mahalal sa nasabing katungkulan noong Mayo 2007 habang ako po ay nakapiit. At muling nahalal para sa ikalawang termino noong 2013. Ang pangunahing plataforma ko ay ang paglaban sa korupsyon at pagtaguyod ng reforma sa ating gobyerno. Natapos ko ang aking ikalawang termino noong Hunyo 2019. Sa pagtupad ng aking tungkulin bilang senador, maraming mga whistleblowers o mga informante ang lumapit sa akin. Ang ilan sa kanila ay nagbigay na mahalaga at kritikal na impormasyon tungkol sa iba't ibang isyung may kaugnayan sa pambansang interes na nagamit ko sa aking trabaho bilang mambabatas sa pag-imbestiga at sa pagpatuloy ng aking advokasya para labanan ang korupsyon at maitaguyod ang reforma sa gobyerno.
Siya talaga yung alam mong simulat sa poll, one of the biggest nightmares ng mga Duterte even starting nung kampanya nung 2016 as a relatively popular senator at anti-corruption figures na naglabas ng commercial laban kay Duterte.
Ganito ba ang gusto nyo?
Kayo ang patayin ko.
Patayin ko kayong lahat.
Mali po ang pumatay.
Ay, naka-umuwi ka lang.
Tama po ba murahin ang Santo Papa?
Hoy, ang NPA!
Ituro nyo po sa amin ang tama.
Napakaganda. Dapat ang mayor muna ang mauna.
Mali po mambastos ng babae.
Kami ka, President, ito bigla.
Ito po ba ang gusto nyo maging halimbawa para sa amin? Ganito ba ang gusto nyo?
Kayo ang patayin ko.
Patayin ko kayong lahat.
Mali po ang pumatay.
Ay, naka-umuwi ka lang.
Tama po ba murahin ang Santo Papa?
Hoy, ang NPA!
Ituro nyo po sa amin ang tama.
Napakaganda. Dapat ang mayor muna ang mauna.
Mali po mambastos ng babae.
Kami ka, President, ito bigla.
Ito po ba ang gusto nyo maging halimbawa para sa amin?
Now, alam naman natin, he needs no introduction dahil lagi natin siyang nakikita. Pero, just a recap. Unang nakilala si Trillanes aka Sonny aka Sentry bilang isang Navy Lieutenant nung Oakwood Mutiny dahil sa nakikita nilang korupsyon sa AFP at pagsasawalang bahala sa karapatan ng mga veteranong sundalo under the Gloria Macapagal Arroyo administration noong 2003 right before the 2004 elections.
This is not a coup d'etat. We're not attempting to grab power. We're just trying to express our grievances against this government.
I believe na itong reforms na to, this will not come within my lifetime. Hindi yan, yung mga, siyempre, they'll say what they promise these things. Ganun lang. Ako nga, I stated these demands just for the sake of stating demands. But, yan, in behalf of the group. Pero, we're not kidding anybody here. Wala mangyayari.
Nang mag-fail ang kanilang tinakdang kudeta, 4 years later sa kanilang trial, nag-walkout sila sa korte para mag-stage ng panibagong mutiny bilang protesta sa kinahantungan ng kanilang trial. This time, sa panibagong hotel sa tinaguriang Manila Peninsula Siege.
Nananawagan kami sa taong bayan na naniniwala sa pagbabago. Ngayon lang ang panahon. Join us! Samahan nyo kami rin sa Makati.
Nilakad nila ang kahabaan ng Makati Avenue at dumiretso sa Manila Peninsula Hotel. Pumasok si Trillanes at muling ipinanawagan ang muling pagbaba sa pwesto ni Arroyo.
Pero meron na siyang notoriety kasi nga a little earlier, nanalo ng Senate seat si Sentry bilang parte ng genuine opposition, the primary contender sa mga administration bets as he campaigned on the rights at benepisyo ng mga veterano along with an anti-corruption messaging.
Ito ang pinakamahal na highway sa buong mundo. The 5.1-kilometer Diosdado Macapagal Highway, priced at 1.1 billion pesos, overpriced by 700 million pesos. Iboto natin ang kandidatong di takot makulong at mamatay sa pag-alis ng graft and corruption. Para Senador, Antonio Trillanes. Para sa Bayang Malinis. Ang 728 million pesos napunta lang sa isang presidential campaign. Alisin ang graft and corruption. Iboto natin for Senator Antonio Trillanes. Para sa Bayang Malinis.
Tumakbo siya bilang independent noong 2016 for VP with this iconic line ng running mate ni none other than former President Rodrigo Duterte na si Alan Peter Cayetano na isa raw siya sa mga nanganib ang buhay para magsiwalat ng katiwalian sa pork barrel scandal, chastising Bongbong Marcos nung tumakbo siya sa pagka-vice-presidente. And not gonna lie, he cooked BBM.
Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, sir.
Lahat po ng nasa stage na to ay nagsalita tungkol sa corruption. Pero nung tinignan ko po sila, so far po si Senator Trillanes, Senator Hunasan at ang inyong lingkod lang ang nagtaya ng buhay namin laban sa corruption. Anong garantiya nyo na si Alan Cayetano ay lalaban sa corruption? Bukod sa walang may hawak sa amin sa liig, walang malaking negosyante na pumapondo sa aming kampanya, sabihin nyo anong issue ng corruption sa ating bansa at wala doon si Alan Cayetano.
And then goes the long history of Trillanes at Duterte that even went on hanggang biglang tanggalan ni Duterte ng amnestiya si Trillanes noong 2010 by then President Benigno Aquino III nang paulit-ulit niyang kinalaban ang mga Duterte sa kanilang bank accounts at most specifically and recently, their war on drugs.
So ngayon, hindi na. Pag gusto niyang iligpit yung isang tao, pinapapatay niya. Pag gusto niyang ipakulong, papakulong niya. Alam niyo, pride na lang yung umiiral sa kanila. But sa akin, swallow your pride, admit your mistake, admit your kapalpakan, di ba? I don't expect them to apologize. I'm not even asking for one. But mag-step back na kayo, stand down, at mali kayo.
Paano nyo lalab?
Kasi hindi naman sila dyan forever. Sinasabi ko sa inyo, talagang bantay lang kayo.
Ayon kay Trillanes, base sa mga nakuha nilang mga datos, ginamit ang mga pangalan at accounts ng buong pamilya ni Duterte para makakalap ng milyong-milyong piso para sa kanilang kapakinabangan. Isama mo pa yung alleged payout na nakuha ng mga Dutertes sa alleged drug lord na si Sammy Uy with over 180 million pesos in checks tied to Uy. With Sara Duterte's 22 million pesos, FBRRD himself of 15 million pesos, Sebastian Baste Duterte 38 million pesos, Cielito Avancenia o common law wife ni FPRRD at Veronica Kitty Duterte 53 million pesos sa loob ng 2 taon.
Ang grand total na nakuha ng Duterte family mula sa isang drug lord na si Sammy Uy ay 181,653,487.36.
Which he actually already said noong 2017 pa lang. So talagang iisipin natin this man is consistent, this man is telling probably the same story over and over again, hoping that someone will finally listen.
Ito yung proper format ng waiver. Ngayon hinahamon ko si Mayor Duterte, pirmahan mo tong waiver na ito ng sa ganon malaman natin once and for all kung ano ang nalalaman nung bank account mo dyan sa BPI Julia Vargas. At ito yung hamon ko. Pagka nagkamali ako, pag pinirmahan mo to at lumabas doon, mali yung akusasyon ko, magre-resign ako sa Senado at magwi-withdraw ko bilang kandidato sa pagka-vice presidente. Yan ang hamon ko sa kanya. Pero kung ganun pa man, siya pa rin ang magiging presidente, gagawin ko itong basis for an impeachment complaint. Ako mangunguna dyan sa kanya. Kaya ngayon pa lang, harapin mo na itong issue na to. Kung magkamali ako, wala na ako sa politika. Pwede siya magtago sa legalities. Pero alam nyo, no, dito sa issue na to, natanggal yung yabang niya natanggal yung tapang niya Suddenly, nagtatago siya sa legalities, kagaya nung ginagawa nun ni Vice President Binay. Ngayon, mga alipores na yung humaharap. Di ba? Sabi niya, nung March, i-issue siya ng waiver, hinahamon niya yung ibang mga candidates. Ginamit namin yung waiver na sinainan niya, hindi tinanggap ng bangko. So press release lang yon, propaganda lang yon, like everything they've been doing so far. I stand by my track record. Hindi ito ang first time na ginawa ko ito. Ilang beses na akong tumayo at bumangga sa mga powerful politicians like him. Hindi pa naman tayo napapahiya. At sa akin dito, importante lang Ngayon, yung issue na bakit ngayon lang ito. Alam nyo kung nakuha ko ito nung January ko ito nilabas. Pero ngayon ko lang po ito nakuha. Last week lang, to be specific. Once and for all, para matapos na. Di ba? Maganda naman yun Kung hindi ito totoo, you have the chance to get rid of a Senator Trillanes. Forever. Di ba? Ilabas mo. Pirmahan mo. Punta tayo sa bangko. Pag mali ako, immediately, I will resign on the spot. And I will withdraw my candidacy as Vice President. Mayor Duterte, tigilan mo na yung drama, pirmahan mo na yung waiver. Tapos na.
Matatandaan din natin na inis si Duterte nang humarap si Trillanes sa Quadcom over the war on drugs nang i-allege ni Trillanes na kung mali ang sinasabi niya, di mag-sign ka ng bank waiver. Kasi kung hindi mo isa-sign yung bank waiver, kahit na ipasinungalingan mo, kung hindi mo mapapatunayan na mali yung sinasabi ko, wala tayong magagawa dahil, again, lalabas at lalabas din ang katotohanan.
Just so that we can put to rest this issue of waivers, because it's been going back and forth, will the former president be okay that if we draft the waiver now, that it be signed today instead of tomorrow? Will you be fine with that, Mr. President?
Anong kapalit, sir?
Hindi.
Sampalin ko sa publiko.
Hindi, wala naman.
Ngayon na.
Wala pong ganunan.
Mr. Chairman. I'll give you, sasampalin ko sa
Mr. Chairman.
Session suspended.
Session suspended.
Order, please. Order.
The hearing is now resumed.
Chairman?
Yes,
Chair.
SDS.
Mr. Chair, may I move priority?
Former
Mr. Chairman,
President,
I just would like to apologize for the unbecoming behavior. Init sa ulo lang yun.
thank you very much for your apology. It is accepted, and
Isa sa mga naipit nung nilabas ni Trillanes itong mga bank records na ito ay ang dating overall Deputy Ombudsman Arthur Carandang na inakasahan ni Duterte na nag-leak ng bank records ni Rodrigo Duterte himself kay Trillanes along with the Anti-Money Laundering Council working together para ipabagsak nga raw si Duterte. Although of course, this is all alleged.
Noong 2017, sa panahong panunungkulan ni Rodrigo Duterte, matapos suriin ang aking reklamo, iniulat ni overall Deputy Ombudsman Melchor Arthur Carandang na merong sapat na batayan upang ituloy ang investigasyon hinggil sa malalaking bank deposits ni Rodrigo Duterte at ang kanyang mga anak at common law wife na si Hanilet Abinsenia, kabilang na rin si Sara Duterte. Bukod pa rito, sa isang public statement sa media, kinumpirma ni overall Deputy Ombudsman Carandang na magkapareho o similar ang nilalaman ng mga listahan ng bank transactions ng pamilya ni Rodrigo Duterte na isinama ko sa aking complaint at mga records at bank accounts ng pamilya Duterte na na-turn over sa kanya ng Anti-Money Laundering Council sa kanyang pag-iimbestiga. Dahil dito, si overall Deputy Ombudsman Carandang ay agad na suspinde at kalaunan ay pinatanggal sa tungkulin sa utos ni Rodrigo Duterte. Kaya natigil ang kanyang pag-imbestiga sa mga bank accounts at tagong yaman ng pamilyang Duterte.
Pumili si ML Party Representative Laila De Lima ng 18 random transactions from Trillanes' affidavit para ma-cross-match ng AMLC ang mga records. Though, I doubt it's actually random. Of course, ni-rehearse nila yan para malaman talaga natin na, oy, teka, ito talaga, totoong meron transaction na nangyaring ito. Ngayon, the anti-corruption stalwart has now found vindication dahil the Anti-Money Laundering Council has confirmed the billion-peso transactions nang magpresenta siya ng affidavit sa Committee on Justice bilang resource person sa impeachment ni VP Sara. Kinumpirma naman ng AMLC ang mga records na sinabi ni Trillanes na dumaan sa mga bank account ni VP Sara at ang kanyang asawa na si Attorney Mans Carpio na nagtotal ng 6.77 billion pesos from 2006 to 2025. No, kahit sabihin mo na, mali mo, dumaan lang kasi transaction lang to, mali mo, dumaan lang sa kanila. What business does a 6.77 billion pesos over 19 years has anything to do with VP Sara, a public official, at Mans Carpio?
To be responsive to the request of the Honorable De Lima, can you at least say whether that transaction is part of the report of AMLC? Kasama po ba itong transaction na ito sa report ng AMLC na sinumite dito sa Justice Committee?
Madam Chair, given that we are only given limited information, I cannot confirm, for example, what's the nature of the transfer, where is the addressee, and all.
We are not inquiring as to the nature of the transfer, just whether or not that amount appears as well in the report of the AMLC.
I can confirm, Madam Chair, if there is a movement of funds on that same date with the same amount involving the same
That
amount.
will
Would
be
be
enough.
fine? Okay.
That will be enough.
So for December 9, 2014, on our records, based on our records, there is a transaction amounting to 16,852,832.94.
So 5 out of 5 transactions randomly selected by Honorable De Lima from Annex A is confirmed by the AMLC, at least that similar transactions appear in their report. Are there any other subject of confirmations? No more.
Marami po kasi ito. That's why I just randomly selected 5 from each of the annexes.
So in total, how many transactions have been confirmed?
So 18.
Do you confirm that? Total of 18 transactions?
We informed earlier that there are 18 transactions mentioned that
Okay.
that one we mentioned are existing in our report.
So
based on
for
our
the
report
record, 18.
All of this culminating into the supposed conclusion that Sara Duterte did not declare the right SALN. Kumbaga, yung cash on hand mo, bakit hindi nakalagay dito na meron kang pera within any of those time frames? Hindi mo dineklara ng tama yung SALN o net worth mo bilang isa sa mga grounds ng impeachment complaints, which is of course the public trust betrayal and maybe even other actual crimes. Pero ang sasabihin mo itong mga bagay naman to, hindi naman kailangan eksaktong-eksakto yung laman ng SALN o net worth mo. Talagang meron kang makakaligtaan kahit na public official ka ng matagal na. But this is not peanuts. This is millions to billions of pesos. So talagang maiisip mo na this is willful reduction. This is willful exclusion ng SALN mo because these are suspicious transactions. Because these will raise some eyebrows. Apparently, wala lang talagang ginawa yung AMLC or at the very least, wala man lang silang sinabi or raised flags regarding these transactions sa publiko. Pero I now hear a lot of detractions na may butas daw dahil yung BDO branch sa SM Lanang did not exist noong 2007 dahil nagbukas lang yung SM noong 2012. Pero there was a branch noong 2007 na lumipat sa loob ng mall at that same place. Kaya ang nakalagay sa AMLC record, BDO SM Lanang, ay dahil ginamit nila yung current na pangalan ng branch at hindi yung pangalan ng branch nung nagkaroon ng transaction kasi nga lumipat. Kasi nga nagsarado yung standalone BDO branch sa SM Lanang at lumipat sa SM Lanang. Pero sa record keeping ng AMLC, total parehas rin naman silang branch, gagamitin na yung current na pangalan, yung kung ano ang pangalan nila ngayon bilang branch. Kahit na before 2012 pa yung transaction bago lumipat yung BDO branch sa SM branch. Or at the very least, ayan yung most likely reason sa transaction discrepancy. I mean, isipin mo yon, si Duterte pinalipad papuntang ICC. Si VP Sara mukhang mapapa-impeach muli. All done by the former Senator Antonio Trillanes na ngayon ay wala man lang even sa pwesto. Natalo siya sa Caloocan. Natalo siya nung tumakbo siyang senador noong 2022. Pero sa mga nagsasabi tulad ni Sara Duterte na Trillanes is back by BBM, tatandaan din natin na sa 6 na taon ni Presidente Duterte, 2 taon bilang VP ni Sara na magkabati silang dalawa ni BBM, wala silang nagawang kaso laban kay Trillanes. So alam mong malinis yan dahil Duterte is not above falsifying trumped up charges sa mga kritiko niya. Kaya nga ngayon nagkakaroon na ng libel charges laban kay Trillanes. Kasi nga, ayun lang yung kanilang refuge. Kasi kahit nasabihin yung tama, the fact that it is identifiable na pinapasaringan niya ay may ginawang mali. At kahit sabihin nating malicious, kahit nasabihin nating tama, kahit nasabihin nating totoo naman yung sinasabi, wala tayong magagawa dahil ganyan ang batas ng Pilipinas. And subscribe to the channel kasi wala namang masama, di ba? And let's get on with the video. At yan pagtatapos ng News Item Worthy Recap Weekly Edition for roughly the 3rd week of April 2026. Mag-suggest some more topics and or corrections to the balitas if you feel I misrepresented them in any way. Salamat sa panonood baka bang Vorby, like, subscribe, follow my links sa socials or for Joseph that will be linked down below. So susunod muli of course, paalam. Pow, 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 pow.